Guys, as we head into week 12 fantasy football, there actually is a ton of value on the waiver wire, especially at the running back position. And we will begin with the Commanders running back 1. Their lead running back, Chris Rodriguez, who ran the ball 15 times over 5 a carry, also had a target. He caught it for 6 yards. He was very close to breaking multiple big runs, dare I say big touchdown explosive plays. Versus Miami in Spain. 16 opportunities. Anytime we see that at the running back position, we must look further into it. So let me take a look now at Bill Krosky-Merritt. I watched this game very intently. I was going against Bill, and as a competitor to Bill, I must say I was pleased with what happened here. But if you are a Bill owner, a Bill investor, not so much. 10 opportunities to Chris's 16. Fair enough. It's actually pretty close. But Bill just did not look as good as Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a very strong, upright runner. He will run you over, and he was doing a lot of that. Bill, 3.1 a carry, did not have a lot of work. I mean, until, close to halftime, third quarter type of thing. We had McNichols coming in, okay, as really the RB2 in pass down situation. So it looks like for right now that Chris Rodriguez is the lead running back in Washington. We look at the schedule. We have bye next week. It's not amazing, but it might actually let him kind of slip under the radar on most waiver wires. Then we have Denver. I don't love that. Minnesota, I'm fine with that. Giants, fine with that. Philly, I'm actually okay with that. To be honest, it's a mid matchup. And then Dallas in week 17, which is very good. According to Fantasy Pros, 4-star strength of schedule here for Chris Rodriguez. It's like top 6 or 7. Sorry. I don't even try at the position. Okay, so Chris Rodriguez, he might be the priority. We have a fair amount of running backs to discuss, though. Moving on, we have Sean Tucker. Now, Sean Tucker does this, we saw him last year. Let's go back to 2024 in week 6. Okay, 34.2 fantasy points, 17 opportunities. Got in the end zone once through the air, once through the ground, on the ground. Now in week 11, against Buffalo, at Buffalo, 3 tutties, 2 on the ground, 19 rushes, caught 2 targets. He was dominant. I mean, he was the lead RB in this game. So what does this tell us? It tells us a few things. Number 1, Rachaad White is no longer this, let's just begin with saying, let's assume Bucky Irving is out, okay? Rachaad White is no longer this auto start, top 15, dare I say, top 12 running back. Sean Tucker, so long as Bucky Irving is out, can be in lineups as a flex, and he might even go crazy for you, as we saw. The Bills' defense against running backs, not that good. Against the pass, pretty good, actually. You saw Tez Johnson get completely shut out. Emeka Egbuka did not have a great game. Baker Mayfield had a mid game, did not kill you at the QB position. But really, against the run, the Bills, you can stomp all over them. Against the pass, the Bills are pretty good. Let's talk about the most likely scenario. Most likely scenario is Bucky Irving returns, okay? I want to look at Bucky Irving's game log before he was injured. And if you guys remember, the thing with Bucky was always, wow, look at these snaps, 76%, 71, 74, because we go back to the end of last year when he was a top 5 running back. I mean, he was never hitting those numbers, 52, 54, 57, 55. He had one game here, week 18, with 72% of snaps. So the thing for me this season was like, yeah, Bucky is him, but can he stand up to this workload, right? We look at what he was doing before he got hurt in 2025. And the answer was, at this point, no. I mean, he got very injured. I mean, he's been out, 1, 2, 3, 4, count to buy, 5, 6, 7 weeks now. So these snaps for Bucky are going to drop back down to 55%. For Bucky, I'm not that worried, but we need to now monitor Tucker versus Rachaad White as the RB2 in the offense. Whoever that is, I think has flex value in these high-scoring matchups going forward. At the Rams, I like that matchup, okay, for Tucker or White, whoever is the running back 2. I believe it will be Tucker. Arizona, yes, we can flex Tucker. New Orleans, yes. Atlanta, yes. Carolina, yes. And then Miami, yes. So Tucker, if he's on your waiver wire, seriously needs to be rostered. I think you can flex him. I would probably advise waiting till after week 12 to do so, just so we can see, okay, Bucky's back. He's ripping 55% of snaps. Tucker is getting 10 plus opportunities, things like that. All right. And for Rachaad White, it essentially is pretty over here. Let's just take a look at the game log, but it is back to his old tricks. Obviously, 13 opportunities is pretty good, but you got to remember when Bucky comes back, who is going to be the secondary running back? I really believe it's Tucker. I really do. I really do. Even though last year in 2024, after this monster game, they put the cat right back in the bag here, down to 20% of snaps, 10, 13, and then he's just faded out. So we have to monitor this situation. Too long didn't read is monitor the situation. Every single running back must be rostered. Okay, talking about Bhayshul Tuten now. I told you guys, we have been stashing Bhayshul Tuten for a while. And this is not a victory lap. This is just cool to see because every time he gets 10 opportunities, I've been saying 10 opportunities is the magic number. He'd been averaging 12.5 fantasy points when he got 12 opportunities, 10 opportunities. Only had 2 games with it before this week. In week 2, we saw it, 15.4. In week 9, we saw it. Okay. Was it week 9? Hold on. Yes, it was week 9. He had 10 opportunities exactly, 9.6 PPR points. You average those two, it's around 12.5 points. So that's a flex. And I said, as soon as this man starts to see 10 opportunities, he's averaging well over 1.0 fantasy points per touch, extremely efficient on a per touch basis. That is the best stat, in my opinion, the best metric. Fantasy points per touch. Fantasy points per touch. We look at what he did yesterday. 15 opportunities, all on the ground, almost 5 a carry, got in the end zone. Then he hurt his ankle. Travis Etienne took over. It really was a 50-50 split. So this is going to fly under the radar. Bhayshul Tuten is going to fly under the radar because we look at Travis Etienne and what he did yesterday. He had a great game. A great game. Almost 4 a carry. Okay, 19 rushes, 2 targets, didn't catch the ball, but got in the end zone twice. So you got 19.3 fantasy points there for Etienne. And then you go to Tuten, you got 13.4. It's over 30 fantasy points to the backfield. So think of it that way. Say there's 32 fantasy points in this backfield weekly. Okay? Can Tuten steal a third of those and go get, 10, 11 points a week? I believe so. In fact, I think it's probably the floor. All right. Now, obviously, there's not going to be 30 every week. Maybe some weeks there'll be 20 and he scores 8 points, some things like that. But when Tuten this is what you need to think of for him. When he gets 10 opportunities, he will be a flex. So looking at the schedule, when will he get 10 opportunities? Against Arizona? Probably. Tennessee? Probably. Indianapolis at home, division game? Probably. Jets? Probably. Denver? Maybe not. And then at Indy, we'll see. So really you have Denver, and then you have Indy twice where we will see. But the upcoming schedule, Arizona, then Tennessee in week 13. Assuming he's not out with his injury, right? I don't know about the injury. I'm recording this very early Monday morning. I'm not sure about the injury. He left the game. He did not come back. Seemed like in good spirits after the game, okay? But yes, Bhayshul Tuten, 23% rostered, could be a league winner down the stretch. Now, we have a ton of injuries, speaking of them, and Josh Jacobs is hurt, and Emanuel Wilson is the running back to own now in Green Bay. 13% rostered, probably mostly Josh Jacobs owners. With that being said, in 87% of leagues, you now have an RB2 on waivers. So, I just want to kind of take a step back to a broader conversation. At this point in the year, you're not going to have monster breakout performances. Like, we know the players, okay? We know the players. It's 11 weeks of data. We know who is who and who can do what. Maybe next week against Pittsburgh, Luther Burden comes out and scores 3 touchdowns, right? Maybe. But there's not many performances like that left in the fantasy season. Maybe some guys who have been slow to start the year, some rookies, right? Break out down the stretch. But we know who they are. How you are going to find value with stashes on the waiver wire, things like that, is with handcuffs, with unfortunate injuries. Sorry, it's the truth. Okay? Josh Jacobs has been banged up for like a month. They have been limiting him in games for at least 4 or 5 games. Apparently, recently he was fully healthy, gets injured here in week 11. You have to be, we're not even talking about Emanuel Wilson right now, but you have to be stashing these handcuff running backs, Keaton Mitchell, Devin Neal. Okay, it sounds stupid. It doesn't feel good to pick them up and waste a spot on your roster, right? And don't get me wrong. If you need a flex, you got to drop them for your flex to start, right? I understand that. Not everyone can stash them. I look at my waiver, there's like 7 guys I want to stash. You have to be stashing these backup running backs because anything can happen. We saw this week 11, the injuries were out of control. All of a sudden, there's 4 or 5 players who are now very fantasy football relevant. And that leads me to Emanuel Wilson. Came in versus the Giants, 3.6 a carry, got in the end zone, 12 opportunities. Apparently, Josh Jacobs' injury isn't super long-term. I would expect him to miss a game. Not a doctor, literally no idea what I'm talking about, but just the comments I'm reading, it's like, okay, Josh Jacobs has been injured for 5 weeks. We have been limiting him, and now he's extra injured. I would expect him to miss a game or two. Now, with that being said, the next 3 games are all division games. Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago. So I see this one of 2 ways. There are 2 paths here. Number 1, Jacobs plays through the injury. They continue to limit him, in which case, Emanuel Wilson, low-end RB3. In deep leagues, you could probably start him, okay? Or Jacobs is out, in which case, in all leagues, he should be in lineups as the RB2 for this team. That's how I view this for Emanuel Wilson. Absolutely must be rostered. We'll move on to Kenneth Gainwell. Another injury, right? We had Jaylen Warren leave the game. He is injured, okay? Not sure the severity. This is not an injury show. What I'll do is give you the possible outcomes. Obviously, if someone tore their ACL or something, I'll tell you, but I'm not sure on the injury. There are people online for that, all right? But Kenneth Gainwell, when we've seen him, okay, we talked about 10 touches for Tuten. When we've seen Gainwell hit that similar mark, right, 10 touches, somewhere around there, he's always been good. In week 4, when Jaylen Warren was out, 25 opportunities, 99 yards on the ground, over 5 carries, caught all 6 targets, 31.4 fantasy points. So if Warren is out, you have Chicago next week, you have Buffalo, then Baltimore, then Miami. It is a top 2 strength of schedule. I mean, seriously, where is it? Yeah, Pittsburgh. Maybe I was over-exaggerating a little bit, but 4 stars according to Fantasy Pros. And honestly, after week 11, I think it'll just continue to go up. Okay? That schedule is phenomenal. 17 opportunities yesterday, 8 catches in PPR leagues. The guy is a must start. I mean, he's a must start. And we see his snaps kind of around this 40%, 34% plus. Last week, 52%. Only 3 targets, though, so it's a little weird. He absolutely must be rostered. This 53% should be 100. He would be a top 15 running back, honestly, in any games that Jaylen Warren misses in rankings. We'll move on now to the wide receivers, and we'll kind of just begin rapid firing a little bit. The running backs are very strong this week. We just talked about all of them, okay? Check the Twitter, join the Discord down below, No Expert Fantasy Football Discord. I rank all of the waiver targets, guys. I give extended analysis on all of them, just my thoughts. I shouldn't use the word analysis. It is my thoughts on these players. So join the Discord, guys. I answer all waiver questions because, I can rank waiver targets all day long. But for your roster, if you have 1 wide receiver on your team and you have 17 running backs, all in the top 20, Jayden Higgins, our first wide receiver, is going to be a guy who I tell you to prioritize over the 5 running backs I just talked about, for example. So join the Discord, guys. Down below, I answer all fantasy football questions for my subscribers. For the most part, guys are pretty happy with it. So join up. It's a good community we have going. Okay. Jayden Higgins. Now, this was a player after week 8 where I'm like, I don't know. And then in week 9, he came out 1 target. I'm like, yes. Okay, nice. But now, the last 2 weeks, we have had 7 targets in back-to-back games. 15 fantasy points in week 10, caught a touchdown. Against Tennessee yesterday, 9.5 fantasy points. I'm officially intrigued. We look at the schedule. Buffalo, not so great. Indy's fine. KC's fine if they're going to score a bunch of points. Arizona, easy. Las Vegas, easy. Chargers, apparently, easy. So I would say schedule is like middle of the road. I'm sure Fantasy Pros, dude, they always shit on my schedule ratings here. Let's see where they have them. And yeah, nice. So they have them bottom 10. I don't agree because when you actually look at the schedule, Buffalo is tough. Don't get me wrong. Indianapolis is not that bad. Sauce Gardner's probably going to be on Nico Collins. So who does that leave open? Jayden Higgins. At Kansas City, I feel like they're going to be losing that game by at least 2 touchdowns. Okay? Arizona, easy. Vegas, easy. And then the Chargers, we just saw what the Jaguars did to them. So I'm not too concerned about the schedule. If you need wide receiver depth, I think Jayden Higgins is a very nice stash. Do I want to go shove him in my lineup against Buffalo in week 12? No, but he's a very, very good stash. We need to bring up Michael Wilson. Okay? So kind of filling in for Marvin Harrison. So again, like similar to the first conversation about Chris Rodriguez that we had, this tells me a couple things. Number 1, whoever is the wide receiver 1 in this Jacoby Brissett offense is going to eat. We will start with Marvin Harrison. When he returns, I'll be ranking him top 15, top 16. This Michael Wilson game is a very good thing for Marvin Harrison. Very, very good thing. For Michael Wilson, if Marvin is out next week against Jacksonville, he should be in lineups as a very good flex, as a wide receiver 2 even. Is Marvin going to be out next week with the appendicitis? I don't know. Or excuse me, with the recovering from the appendix surgery or whatever he had? I don't know. Not a doctor, right? I don't know. So if he is, Michael Wilson in lineups at home against Jacksonville. If he's not, Michael Wilson probably hits the bench. Roster him. I doubt you get. It probably goes back to more of the same. The Jacoby Brissett offense is very good for the pass catchers, though I will say that. At the tight end position, I do think the Seahawks offense is going to bounce back. And A.J. Barner had 11 targets yesterday. We saw 7 targets in week 5. It tells me that in these matchups where, the Seahawks are going to need to throw a lot, going to need to put up some points, A.J. Barner can be started. In these other matchups where they kind of steamroll these teams, you got Jacksonville week 6, Houston week 7, Washington week 9, where it's very heavy on the ground. Week 10, Arizona, they barely played offense that game. Probably not, but in these games where it's a bit of a shootout and they might need something through the air, you can start Barner as a streamer. Week 13, Minnesota sticks out to me. At Atlanta, if they can kind of figure it out, sticks out to me. Indianapolis, the Rams again, probably not Carolina, right? So looks like the schedule's pretty good for him coming up at the tight end position. We're kind of going to be bouncing around here. Darnell Mooney. We will get into really kind of taking away from the injuries now. Drake London is injured. He got injured late in the game. He was ruled out really quickly. People are saying PCL. Again, I'm not a doctor. Literally know nothing. So please. I've heard rumors of a PCL injury. That is what Ricky Pearsall had. He missed like 6 weeks. That is what Brock Bowers had. He should have missed way more than what he missed. I mean, he was trying to play through it and then hurt it, right? So PCL is not so good. If that's the case, Darnell Mooney, 7+ targets in back-to-back games. Schedule's pretty good. Looking ahead, New Orleans, Jets, Seattle, Tampa Bay. I'm cool with all those matchups. If London misses time, Darnell Mooney, low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3. So he should be rostered. This should be 100%, not 36%. Zonovan Knight is next, We saw DeMercado get hurt. We saw Zonovan Knight have a nice game, 14.5 fantasy points. He actually had a 60-yard touchdown kind of called back, right? Trey Benson should be returning. I've heard nothing. I mean, like I said, today is Monday morning. I just woke up. So we need to hear tomorrow, that Trey Benson's 21-day practice window has been opened. If not, DeMercado's injured. Zonovan Knight against Jacksonville. Get him in the lineups. Fire him up. 4.8 a carry. Scored 4 targets. Only 5 carries, but they were not in a position to be running the ball. Against Jacksonville, hopefully the game's a little cleaner, and they are. And Zonovan Knight will be the lead running back. So again, 27% rostered. Very sneaky name. Needs to be rostered. Elic Ayomanor. We have Calvin Ridley breaking his leg yesterday. We have Chamir DK hurt. This guy is ass. Elic Ayomanor is ass. I watch him play, and seriously, like myself at the Turkey Bowl, Thanksgiving morning, dead ass. I'm putting up these stats. I'm serious. I'm serious. No disrespect. He's not ready yet. But if he's the only man out there catching targets, and we're seeing 6+, I cannot ignore the value. I've been saying this since week 1, 2, and 3. It hasn't worked out. I mean, look at these catch totals. 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 3. 5 targets in like all those games. Like, dude, catch the... Nah, it's crazy. I actually started him one week. It's crazy. Don't do it. However, Seattle, they're gonna be losing that game. Jacksonville. Cleveland sucks. San Fran, they're gonna be losing that. KC, they're gonna be losing that. New Orleans, you can throw on them. So the schedule's all right. Maybe a B- schedule, B schedule. If these other 2 receivers, obviously Calvin Ridley's season's done. If DK is out an extended period of time, Ayomanor's the guy. So I mean, maybe just maybe in PPR. We saw Devin Singletary have kind of a dominant game here, very under the radar against Green Bay, 17.7 fantasy points. It's the second week in a row, double-digit fantasy points, 17 opportunities. 16 of those were on the ground, got in the end zone twice. You're not going to get these crazy stat lines from Singletary, 2.7 a carry. And then in week 10, 2.5. All right. Sometimes they'll break a long run, whatever, but you're at Detroit next week. They're off a loss. I don't love that. Then you're at New England. I think New England's defense is fraudulent, to be honest. Fraudulent. I've been watching a lot of their games lately. Fraudulent defense. So at New England, you could see some value there with Dart back. We just got to monitor this backfield and kind of the split going forward. Singletary should be rostered in all leagues. If he starts to kind of pull away 60-40 in his favor, like we saw against Green Bay, I don't mind that. Ollie Gordon is next, and this just comes from kind of watching this morning game where they really like this guy. Obviously, Devon Achane had a great game, but we saw him get very banged up, and it just served as a reminder to me, like, going back to what I said before about Emanuel Wilson, the way you're going to find league winners at this point in the season is, unfortunately, injuries. Like, if Devon Achane was not okay, seems fine. I mean, Ollie Gordon, at this point, he's going to be getting 15 rushes a game, gets the buy-in in week 12, but then New Orleans, Jets, Pittsburgh, Cincy, easy. Like, top 15 running back, easy. So just be monitoring these handcuffs. I mean, especially if you own the primary running back, if you're an Achane owner, you must get Gordon. I mean, I'm trading low-end flexes to go get Gordon. Okay? Christian Watson, we'll talk about him and kind of begin this fool's gold section of the show. But honestly, I think there's only one name, and it is Christian Watson. He is a bit of fool's gold for me. He does this where he will go out, make some incredible plays, incredible catches. He is like one end of the spectrum where he's like a Pop Warner receiver, and then he's the other end of the spectrum, right, where he's like prime Larry Fitzgerald. And we got the latter in week 11 at the Giants. 2 touchdowns, circus catches, dominating, grown man Julio Jones plays. Okay, I'm good. Literally, if he was on my waiver wire, I'd be like, I'm good. No worries. No need for that. 4 targets in 3 straight games, then 5 against the Giants, 2 pretty awesome touchdowns. Yeah, I'm good. We are good on Christian Watson. That's really all I have to say. Like, I literally do not want to put him in my lineup. I do not want to waste a roster spot on him. And that's my thoughts on Watson. Again, nothing against the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but for fantasy football purposes, no thank you. I'm good. How many years into this are we? 4 years in? I'm good. Okay. Actually, some sneaky values, maybe some more stash plays. John Metchie, okay, and AD Mitchell. So Metchie got the touchdown for the Jets from Justin Fields. AD Mitchell, 6 targets. Did not look very good, but I mean, Garrett Wilson's on IR. He's going to miss 3 more games. The schedule's pretty sick. All right, at Baltimore, then Atlanta, then Miami. Those latter 2 are just getting dominated right now. We saw what Deebo Samuel did. We saw what Teteroa McMillan did yesterday. So I like Adonai Mitchell as a deep flex play, a deep stash. And then John Metchie as well in very deep leagues. It's just, 0% roster. But if he's going to be the wide receiver 2, if he's going to be seeing the second most targets on the team, even though they're from Justin Fields, he deserves a look. He's more of a stash for sure. And then finally, guys, the last name I want to mention today is Pat Bryant. First of all, Courtland Sutton, it is over. Courtland Sutton had 8 targets yesterday. It's still over. Pat Bryant is emerging. Troy Franklin is the wide receiver 1. It is over. They spam RJ Harvey out of the backfield with targets. It is over. Literally just a few months ago, I told you Courtland Sutton is my guy, and he will finish as a wide receiver 1. What I did not account for was that Troy Franklin and Bo Nix have this special connection that Pat Bryant essentially is breaking out here. Okay, every time he touches the ball, I'm like, damn, this guy's good. And that, we'd be spamming RB targets out of the backfield. Didn't account for those things. Guilty. The other 3 my guys, by the way, pretty good. Trey McBride, Chase Brown, and Caleb Williams. Pretty good. Courtland Sutton, though, missed it. Not happy with Sutton. We look at Pat Bryant. He's getting the bye in week 12 off his best game of the season. Then you have Washington, Las Vegas. Easy. Green Bay, easy. Jacksonville doesn't scare me. And then at KC, he just had 13 points versus them. Okay? I like Pat Bryant as a stash. We see the post-bye rookie bump. He has the bye in week 12. I very much like him as a stash, guys. That is going to do it for the waiver video heading into week 12. Good luck. Follow on Twitter. Join the Discord. Ask me all your questions. Peace.